Traveling after my divorce is probably the one thing that had the biggest impact on my life in terms of becoming a more high value man, just really figuring out who I am as a person, helping me in relationships, just helping my self confidence in general, and just becoming the best version of myself that I'm still working on. But I'm in Playa del Carmen, Mexico now, and I figured what better topic than to just go over how traveling has had an impact on me. So when I was growing up, I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, La Crosse, Wisconsin, if anyone's ever heard of it. Small town of about 50,000 people. I grew up there all the way up until I was about 19 years old. Always was classified as, the not popular kid. Very shy, very quiet. And when you grow up in a town like that, everybody already knows who you are. They already have their stigma. They already know, all right, this is your identity. And it was very difficult for me to break out of that. Like I said in other videos, I had gotten in trouble. I did get arrested. So in order to get out of my small town, I joined the military. And when I went into the military, I also got stationed in small town Missouri, which is where I met my wife at the time. We met in Missouri. It's another small town. I didn't really know anybody, but it was the same situation where small town Missouri is not very different than small town Wisconsin. You're not meeting a lot of people who are from different cultures or different backgrounds. It's still very much Americans in small towns. Everybody kind of knows each other. So if you're not part of their social circle, it's difficult to adapt and to meet people. So we didn't have a lot of friends, so it was just me and her. And then once I left the military, I moved us to La Crosse, Wisconsin again to get our schooling. Still didn't know anybody, still very small town. Could I get out of that identity of just being who I was. I didn't know I could grow at the time. And then after that, we went to Wausau, Wisconsin. So as you can see, this pattern of just being in small towns, never experiencing new cultures, never trying to grow as a person. And then when my wife and I were traveling, it would be either to visit my parents in Wisconsin when we were in Missouri at the time, or it'd be us to go visit her parents in Missouri. And there's one time we went to Alaska to visit my brother. But other than that, we did not travel. We did not explore. We did have plans to go to Europe one day. It's always that one day, maybe someday we'll go. And we never did. And then, I always kind of assumed like I needed weeks of time off before I could travel. I never left the country up until I was 35. The reason I started traveling in the first place is because we had made these plans that we would eventually go to Europe. And when she came home and told me in August 2017 that it was over, I was obviously, like I said, devastated for several weeks. I was thinking of what I did wrong. Is she happy with this guy? But I was also thinking of like, what would be ways to get her back? And one of the ways I thought about getting her back, or at least maybe not even getting her back, but making her maybe regret leaving, or like I'm going to make her regret that I'm going to show her what kind of man I could be. So my buddy at the time, he was working for the airline. He got us tickets to London for very cheap. And I knew that she had always wanted to go to Europe. We planned this out together. So my thinking was, okay, I'll go to Europe. At least, if anything, it'll maybe make her a little jealous and maybe want me back more. I don't know. But once I went to London, we got there at midnight on a random day, and we couldn't check into our hotel until 2:30 p.m. the next day. And in the past, I never would have been able to deal with this. I guess I would have just sat at the hotel and waited, but my buddy and I decided we were going to go tour London. We're going to walk the streets from midnight to 2:30 p.m. We saw a whole bunch of the touristy stuff on our own, and it was just a great adventure. It was something that I never would have considered doing, especially not with my ex at the time. And we went out, we had a good time, we met a lot of cool people, we were making friends. And it just started my, maybe not obsession, but just my confidence in being able to travel. And then I came back home, and I remember she said she was jealous that I went, and I was just thinking, okay, that's interesting. And I had interesting stories to tell from it. And once I came back, and And I was exposed to all these people in London who had different cultures. You would meet people from all over the world there. We met tons of people that night, and we had tons of fun. And we only had to be there. Let's give this a second, maybe it might be loud. But yeah, we met tons of people in London. We were only there for 2 days too. And I remember thinking like that was not that difficult. Everyone was telling me how hard it is to travel to another country because it takes so long. It's like, oh, it's like a 9-hour flight. We got there, we had a blast for 2 days, and then we came back. It was pretty easy, it was fun, and it just showed me what was possible. So when I came back to my small town in Wausau, Wisconsin, it immediately got me thinking about what else can I do? Where else can I meet new people? And I knew if I stayed in Wisconsin, I would still have that identity of still being more the quiet person. I'm never gonna grow. I'm never gonna meet the kind of people I want. If I was gonna go out and meet, I wasn't gonna meet multicultural people, that's for sure. But if I wanted to meet new women, which was my goal, I'd have to go to the same shithole bars every weekend and see the same people. And the odds of me actually attracting somebody that I wanted and not just settling for was very low. So as I went to London, I realized, okay, I know I can handle this stuff. I can make this work. And then it got me started. I moved out of my small town to Boston. And then I moved to Vegas after a while. And I was much more comfortable just traveling around, starting a new life, trying to expose myself to new people, new situations. All this leads up to eventually in 2022, I came and visited a friend in Mexico. And I was here for 3 days, not a long trip, but it was very easy to get down here. I came right at the end of COVID or right during COVID. I was living in Austin, Texas at the time. Shout out to Emo Bingo there. Yeah, I was living in Austin and I visited Mexico. And at the time I was working remote because of COVID. And I was just thinking, like, it was amazing to come down here and to meet women from all over the world. Russians, Ukrainians, Argentinians, Mexicans, like, it's just so multicultural, and it gave me so much opportunity to learn about other cultures, to really find the kind of women that I actually wanted to be around. In Wisconsin, I didn't have those options. If I would have stayed in Wisconsin after my divorce, I'm not sure what would have happened, but I would not have had the experiences I do. I would not have been able to really determine the kind of women that I actually want to be with. It would have been the same things as it always was. It's just, these are the girls that are available. Let's hope they're good enough or they accept me, and that's it. But now, once I lived in Mexico, I was able to experience, like I said, multicultures. I was able to really improve my skills with women by being able to go on multiple dates with girls that I would not have met anywhere else. If you're ever, I'll give you a tour of Mexico or Playa del Carmen. I'm working on that video now, trying to show you the hot spots, what's good to see, what's great about it. But just being able to come down here, I was able to get my online dating profile going. I was able to get on plenty of dates with girls that were attractive and from, other countries. And it really showed me what I appreciated, which helped me just become a better version of myself because I started to have boundaries, I started to have more standards, I started to know what I was looking for in women. It got me exposed to difficult situations, like when I got arrested in Mexico. I'm actually walking up to the bar where that happened. And when that happens, like, I was arrested in Mexico on a Friday night, didn't speak Spanish, didn't know why I was arrested, get to the jail, don't know how long I'm gonna be there for, don't know what's gonna happen in these jail cells. No one knows I'm even there. Like, it was an experience for sure. But doing this stuff, I realized that I can handle almost anything. It built my confidence up. It allowed me to just grow and to know that I can literally handle whatever happens. I've handled the worst days already, so I don't need to worry about everything. So now I can plan trips. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but when I was gonna move to Boston, or when I moved to Vegas, or when I visited Guatemala, everyone's trying to tell me that these places are so dangerous. You should be very careful. And then you go out there and you have amazing experiences. It's whatever you make it out to be. But yeah, I just traveling in general. I don't know how many of you guys can relate to this. Maybe you guys have traveled a lot, and you can share that in the comments of how that really improved your lives. Like I said, I never left the country till I was 35, which maybe was the best time because I could actually afford to do what I want. I was already a grown man, so I didn't have to worry about, bills or getting taken advantage of as much. But it's just really helped me to grow as a person. So I can't recommend it enough. If you're looking for a good place to go that's very chill and relaxed, Playa del Carmen's right on the beach. It's got gorgeous women everywhere just walking down the street. What I loved about it was that I was able to utilize not only online dating, there's plenty of people here, but I was also able to start doing more cold approach, where you just talk to girls on the street. They're very receptive. There's a lot of people walking around. I'm in Minneapolis now, and it's difficult to, it's difficult to approach people because there's not as many people. But it's also when I'm going to places and you ask them, hey, are you from Chicago? There's like, no, I'm always from Minnesota. A lot of people already there, already have their cliques, already have their groups of friends. So it's difficult to go out and meet people. And if you're looking to improve yourself as a person, like with women or just like your social skills, it can be difficult because everybody's already got their friend group. And for me, I know for me, I like to meet people that have traveled, have interesting stories to tell. It makes it more fun. It makes you kind of connect as well when you go to a place and you meet Americans. Like when I meet Americans here in Mexico, we immediately hit it off because we're both we're not in our country. We obviously have the same goals of travel. And I made some of the best friends that I've ever had here in Mexico because we had the same goals. They were very much into improving themselves as people, whether that be, let's see here. They're interested in improving themselves as people, whether it be spiritually, health-wise, business, goals. And these are the people that I talk to regularly. Like they wanted the same things I did. They came down here to live a different lifestyle, to meet gorgeous women, to just improve. A lot of them didn't have the same experiences that I do, that we do, I guess. They didn't have to go through divorces, but that it's still the same situation. Like they still want to improve. They still want to meet gorgeous women. They still want to just become better versions of themselves. And it's just great when you can meet those kind of people. I never met those in my hometown. I met a lot of them in Vegas. I started going to places where these people hung out. I knew I wanted to be successful. I wanted to have successful friends. I could not do that in Wisconsin. If I stayed in Wisconsin after my divorce, I just know I would have been the same guy. I wouldn't have pushed myself as hard as I could. I wouldn't have grown socially, spiritually. I would not have dated the women that I wanted to. I absolutely would have just, I know I would have settled because there wouldn't have been many options. I would have just gone to the same bars because that's where the women would have gone. So if that's your situation, if you've been divorced or you're breaking up, even if you're in a bigger city, maybe it's time to just go out and explore and see what else is out there. Because you'd be surprised how many different kinds of people you can meet, what kind of stories you'll have. I know for my dates now, when I go on a date, I just have so many more stories to tell. I can relate to different things. They bring up a topic. It's like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this. Whereas if I never traveled or moved around and I just stayed with my same friend group or just never pushed my boundaries, I wouldn't have anything to relate to. It would be very much like asking interview questions on dates, which maybe is why a lot of guys struggle when they get to dates. I've had a lot of girls tell me that they hate going on dates because a lot of the times it's very boring. They just ask interview type questions, not a lot of banter. There's not a lot of stories being told because maybe they don't have as much life experience. So these are just some of the things that I found that have been super helpful. which is one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video. I'm back in Playa. It's great to be back. It's one of my favorite places because of just how easy it is. Like you can get to the beach easy, you can walk to the gym easy, you can walk to the store easy. It's very relaxed. And you meet a lot of great people, you meet a lot of great girls. And it just expands you to different cultures. You can meet everybody from as far as like Russia, Ukraine, like I said, Poland, all this stuff. So yeah, that's I think that's all I wanted to share today. If you haven't been here, I would highly recommend it. If you're looking for, yeah, get distracted by all the people. It's a Tuesday night, maybe 9:30.
For a dinner, guys?
No, gracias. Yeah, it's Tuesday night. It's super busy. This isn't even the busy time of year. The whole point of this video, sorry, I'm getting lost here, is if you're going through a divorce, breakup, single, whatever, if you have not traveled, try it out. I think it's really gonna open up your eyes to what you're capable of. You'll just gain so much more experience. You'll gain stories that you'll just, randomly somebody will say something, oh, that reminds me of when I was here. And it just makes you a better person overall. So if your goal is to build your value, I mentioned this in yesterday's video, how the red pill opened up my eyes. And one of the things it talks about is, as a man, you're not born with value, you have to build your value. And I realized very quickly, after I traveled to London, one of the best ways I could build my value was to go out, get these experiences, go on plenty of dates so that I can get that experience with women. I got exposed to the kind of girls that I want, so now I have a standard of what I'm actually looking for. I'm not just settling with women that just come along because I don't have options or I don't even know what I want. When you have this abundance, you start to filter out like, okay, I do like when girls act like this way. And you're not necessarily gonna find that if you're in your town where you're around the same people that you're always around. If you have any questions on anything about Mexico, anything about, I don't know, Boston, Austin, Barcelona, I've been to a lot of places. Let me know in the comments what you guys have gone through. Like, where have you traveled? How has travel affected you? Has it been a positive impact on you like it has me? Let's get loud here again, hold on. They even got great cover music here. Like, what more could you want? Like I said, I'm working on a video this week. I'll show you the best spots to go around Playa if you want to come down here. It's super easy to get here from the US. I can't recommend it enough. I'll leave it here. Hope you have a good Tuesday evening. This video will be up tomorrow morning, Wednesday. And we'll see you later.